You just have to wake up one day and say, I have to break these generational curses. I am my mother and father's child, but I am created for my own journey.
Welcome to yourbrilliance.com. I'm your host, Amy Waterman. When you look back on your life, do you see times where you were taken advantage of? Maybe because you didn't stand up for yourself or because you trusted people who didn't have your best interests at heart. You got burned and you learned an important lesson. It's up to you to keep yourself safe. And maybe you stopped trusting people for a while, or maybe you pulled back and stopped taking risks. But that's no way to live. Our guest for today has a different solution. She wants every woman to know that you have a right to boundaries, and those boundaries set us free to live the lives we want. Kasey Woods is not your ordinary women empowerment motivational speaker. No woman will be left behind. She doesn't care about your background, sexual orientation, what you've been through, or where you come from. Her goal is to empower each and every woman that crosses her path. She is an author, a radio personality, and founder and CEO of She Zone, an entertainment company that holds the annual She Pride event in Richmond, Virginia. Welcome, Kasey.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
So I'm going to start out then with definitions. Not everybody knows what boundaries are and why they matter. So first of all, what is a boundary?
Boundaries, in my opinion, are the self-love, definition of self-love. They matter because you are a precious gem that was created by the maker above. So, being that you are created from the maker above, you are special. You are a gem, and you cannot let anyone, not anyone, talk to you or treat you any kind of way. That's why it matters.
So these are the sorts of things that you think that we would have learned growing up, right? Our parents are supposed to teach us about boundaries. Is that where you learned about boundaries?
To be honest with you, no. I learned boundaries from trial and error. I was one of those kids that had to grow up and pretty much raise myself when it came down to the boundaries, because in majority of the households, normally it's the father that teaches you the boundaries. In most cases, not all, but I wasn't raised in a household with a father. So I had to go through life and I had to fail, learn, and recreate.
So how did you learn then to establish boundaries? And what does that look like too? Like what for you does establishing boundaries look like?
It's just getting sick and tired of being sick and tired. You just get sick and tired of people, places, and things treating you and not adding value to your life. After a while, you're just gonna say, you know what, I've had enough. Stop. You're gonna have to say that for yourself.
One of the things that interested me was that you said that it was usually the father who teaches you boundaries. And it does seem to me that there is this gender divide when it comes to boundaries, that boys are taught to defend their territory and protect themselves, and girls are taught to play nice and get along with everyone. Do you think that that's possibly one of the reasons that we as women don't necessarily have as good of boundaries as guys do?
I honestly do. I think that, and in most cultures, I've even noticed that the woman is taught to be the submissive, to play it safe, everything is going to be okay. Um, Ignore them, that they'll go away. But what happens when they don't go away? What is the next solution? You know?
I think that that is so true. We're taught always to rise above and be the better person and always be forgiving, right? Understand
Right.
the other person, where they were coming from. And, hurt people hurt people. We got to understand them. We shouldn't judge them. So how do we get from that place to start creating better boundaries for ourselves?
For me, it took a lot a lot of personal development. It took my father is a motivational speaker. It took a lot of long conversations with him because, parents do let you go into the world. They let you do whatever it is that you gotta do. And you always go back to your mother or your father for advice to say, "Mom, Dad, you told me so." So for me, it was definitely I had to have a sit down with my father and say, "Dad, what's going on? Why am I keep going through what I'm going through?" And he straight told me, "You have to look yourself in the mirror and say, I don't love myself." You have to acknowledge that.
So I'm going to ask the question then. How
Okay.
did you learn to love yourself better?
Just being ran over top of because of my nice nature. Very humble. I was always taught to be humble and treat people the way I want to be treated. And after a while, people started to take advantage of that, and I let them. But after a while, I said, "You know what? I deserve better than this. You will not talk to me that way."
So how do we then establish those boundaries while still retaining that feeling of being a nice person? And I know it seems like those two things are contradicting each other, but we want to be able to say, "Hey, that's not all right," but we want to be able to do it in a way that's not offensive, also that's not going to I hate to say, but like invite aggression, because one of the things that we know as women is if you're walking on the street and somebody pushes you and you say, "Hey, hold on a second," you don't know what that person is going to react. You don't know how they're going to react. So we need to have those boundaries, but we also need to be able to establish in a way that's authoritative and not aggressive. How do we do that?
It's funny that you said that. This is the reason why I wore this hat. You have to develop faith. Faith is a big one. Faith, you have to know that you were not created to be defeated. You were not created to be defeated. So that means on you have to walk out of your house every day with your shield and with your armor to say, "This is enough. You speak to me that way, I will tell you about yourself." It's kind of like my grandmother used to tell me, the nice nasty. You still treat people the way they, that you want to be treated, but you still have to know when to cut the nice off and still have some type of integrity with yourself. So it's like you just have to know what to say and what not to say, but still defend who you are. That makes sense?
Yeah, I love that nice nasty, because I think that there was a meme going around there several years ago about nasty women. And women who stand up for themselves sometimes get pegged as nasty, and maybe that's an okay thing. So you have had an interesting relationship with your parents, I know. And I think one of those places where it's also very, very hard to enforce our personal boundaries is with our parents. As you said, your parents, you come back to your parents and your parents always have advice and they always want you to slot into whatever role they envision for you. How have you been able to live the life you want and still get that support from the family?
Oh, it wasn't always that easy. Uh, Boundaries, definitely. You just have to wake up one day and say, "I have to break these generational curses." I am my mother and father's child, but I am created for my own journey. That's what I had to do. I had to ignore the naysayers. I had to ignore the negativity from me being who I am. And I just had to say, "You know what? It's my life. I have to live it. Whoever doesn't like it, there's the door."
It's especially hard with family because we are
Yeah.
taught that you only have one family and you're not going to get another one. So you'd better make nice and you'd better keep the peace. Yeah.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
family is one area where boundaries are pretty hard, but another area where boundaries are really hard are in relationships, because we know that if we set boundaries too strong with our partner can just leave and find someone else. What's your advice for establishing healthy boundaries in relationships?
You just have to know that you are a queen, you are a king. You deserve to be loved. You deserve for someone to love you for who you are. You deserve to be treated like, on the highest pedestal because you are the king and the queen, right? So you have to, it's kind of like when they don't treat you the way that you are supposed to be treated, that's when you step in and say, hey, you're going to learn my worth, you're going to know it, you're going to respect it. And if you don't, there's the door. That's my answer for everything. There's the door. There's the door.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
your friendships and your relationships end up changing once you start establishing boundaries.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I know is that you are a passionate advocate for the LGBTQ community and that you are doing really important work to create safe spaces for lesbian women to be out and proud. Tell us about She Zone and She Pride.
She Zone. She Zone. I created She Zone 10 years ago to become a safe haven for women who love the women and are curious. It's kind of hard out here. I'm gonna say it's hard out here in these streets to be, gay and lesbian as it is, and there's not a lot of places for us to go, especially the women. It's a the gay life, in my opinion, is dominated by, again, male, right? So it's not really a lot of places that are catered to lesbians. So I wanted to create a place where lesbians can come, be themselves, kick off their shoes, meet new people, have fun, listen to some music, and just enjoy ourselves. That's why I created She Zone, and She Pride pretty much is a talent showcase for women in the community. Here recently, I have been opening it up to any woman because it's on fire for women right now. So, yeah.
See, I love it. And it's completely inclusive in that if you're a woman, you can go and you can celebrate.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's respectful. I have, to be honest with you, I have like maybe a half and half. My crowd is half and half. I have half gays and half straight people. I mean, just come on, have a good time, meet new people. You never know. You never know who could be your next best friend. So come on.
So you had said that you were creating a safe place for people, that women, you were on fire for women right now. Why that? Why do you feel like this is what's needed right now?
I feel that I think what did it for me was working in a lot of male dominated uh, workplaces, going to different groups and being around male dominated friends. Now, if you just actually sit in a group of men, just sit in a group of men and just listen to how they look at the woman, you say, you know what? I can't believe that we are allowing them to talk about it. I wish a whole lot of women can come together and listen to how they treat us because, of course, they treat us. So, yes.
Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
By me being, hanging around a lot of men, especially straight men. I'm like, they call me like one of the guys, like, so I sit and I listen to them. I listen. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's why, as women, do you feel like if we learn as women to step into our power and to be queens and to establish our boundaries, do you feel like that culture will change?
Yeah, because for real, if you look at TV right now and you look at CNN, look at movies, I mean, the women are winning. That's because the women are waking up and creating boundaries. We're not taking it no more. We are just as powerful as a man. Whether you wear a dress or whether you wear a suit, whether you wear whether you wear a bikini or whether you're not. You are powerful. You are a woman. Be proud of who you are and stand up for yourself. When you get in a group of men and they start telling you what a woman can't do, you show them what a woman can do. Create those boundaries.
So I just want to say right here, and I think this is very obvious to anyone watching, you are also a motivational speaker. And so tell us a little bit about the talks that you do.
I talk about things I've been through. My mission is to take what I've been through and possibly help someone else. You know, it's especially in these times right now with the pandemic going on, a lot of people are stressed out, depressed, don't know what's going on, confused, you know, and I want to be able to inspire people and let them know that trouble don't last always. And I have a topic for everything. I talk about from love and relationships to girl, get up, you got this. I talk about everything. Anything that someone submit to me, I will talk about it. I don't have a limit on what I talk about.
Fantastic. And for those of you watching, if you would like to learn more about Kasey speaking, about her work, we have a link for you. Just go to yourbrilliance.org/Kasey. That's yourbrilliance.org/KASEY. Thank you so much, Kasey, for coming on the show. And I wonder if you have any last message you would like to leave our viewers with.
I just want you all to know that no matter what you are going through, trouble do not last always. You have the ability to do anything you want to do. You just have to get up, move, make it happen, ignite your fire, and boom, make it happen. I love you all. Thank you all for watching. Thank you too for bringing me on and for this opportunity. I really appreciate you for that.
Thank you so much, Kasey. And thank you out there for watching. Now, did you have any aha moments while watching this interview? If so, share them with us in the comments. And for more interviews like these, make sure to subscribe to Your Brilliance TV here on YouTube, and then come on over to yourbrilliance.com for more tips and insights on how you can live your most brilliant life. See you next time.